it's not done until it's done. See, in other words, it's the law of inertia. That's another form of logic. They call it the law of inertia, that something stays in place until something moves it. Like if there's a rock on the moon, that rock will sit right there in that one spot for 10 trillion years. One rock on the moon. But then one person can walk right up to it, and a rock that's been sitting in one place for 10 trillion years, that person can pick up that rock and throw it 3 or 4 or 5 feet away, or a dozen yards away, and it hasn't moved in 10 trillion years. And so the way that they do it, if I'm really in line with answering the question, they have a code, because you can't keep something going this long and this efficiently unless you iron out all the glitches. And they have done that in record time. The white supremacists make very few mistakes. That's why they are the most successful religion and most successful political system ever devised in the minds of people. But the question was, how can you undo it? Well, you have to have a counter code. You just can't stand there and look at it, because just like that rock on the moon, it will sit there for the next trillion years. It will just keep running. So what we call black culture, as it stands now, has to be greatly overhauled. What is culture? Culture is nothing but what you do. If you just walk across the street, that's your culture. Why? Because you're walking across the street. It's just that simple. Culture is whatever you are doing at the moment that you are doing it. If you are carjacking someone at the airport, and you're jacking someone at the airport, it's not rocket science. This thing about culture is being something that you find in a box about 15 feet away from the Great Pyramid, up under the ground, and you go there, and you dig, and you come up with something in a box, and it's some bones and some what you might call artifacts that are going into the African American Museum at some time or another, and you say, oh, here we have it. Eureka. We finally found it. We are now saved, because we now have the answer to our prayers. We have black culture. And the white supremacists look at black people who think that way, and they laugh like you wouldn't believe, because they know that culture is nothing but whatever it is that you're doing at the moment that you're doing it, and that's all it's ever been, and that's all it ever will be for any people. And if it's a black person going down the river in a canoe, that's black culture, because that black person is going down the river in a canoe. The minute that black person gets out of that canoe and starts walking across dry land, then a black person rowing a canoe is not black culture. The black person is now walking across the land. So that's black culture. Why? Because it's a black person doing it at the moment that they're doing it.